Hello, BookTube. As you know, there have been haul wars on BookTube lately. They've been roiling our little corner BookTube, people going out and buying books willy-nilly. And that would be fine if it were a fun competition, but it's also warped because we're also sending books to each other. So it adds to the surreal nature of haul wars. And boy, oh boy, do I have an example of that. That Reading Guy, a channel that you all know. I'll leave a link to his channel down below in case you want to go and subscribe. He went to a local book sale, and he made the mistake of sending me pictures of some of the things that were on offer, all dirt cheap. And I said, I want them all. Get them all for me and mail them to me, or I will destroy you. and instead of just patiently ignoring me, as so many people do when I threaten to destroy them, he actually did it. And the box came today. It was very heavy, but I work out, so I was able to bring it up from the porch with ease. And I'm going to go through it now. But this is not going to be easy because there are a lot of books in here. Now, I can see what's on top. I'm going to have to do a lot of reaching because this is too heavy to put on the couch next to me. I can see what's on top, but it goes down a lot, and I don't know what's in this thing. All right. Okay, we can do a little bit of a theme here to start. That might help to hurry this thing along. I got a lot of gore novels, which I didn't notice in that picture, but I wasn't about to tell Isaiah to pick and choose. These are by John Norman. They are notorious. They're fantasy novels in which the fantasy world of gore is incredibly misogynistic. Women are all slaves. They're used as currency and sweat rags and whatnot. I think I don't hold gore in any kind of esteem. They're not good books, but I would say that probably the first one is at least interesting. But God, there are so many of them. In fact, didn't one of you tell me that John Norman is still alive and still writing gore novels after 50 years? Anyway, there's probably a lot of them in here, but on top there's Hunters of Gore with a chained woman. There's Assassin of Gore. These birds are a big deal in the book. There's Beasts of Gore. These DAW paperbacks often tempted me. Even way back when. These came out in like the 70s, 1978. Even when I knew what they were, even when I knew what the series was like, they still tempted me because it's a big, fat DAW fantasy. And DAW had a name for that. And here we have Tarzan of Gore, which is Volume 1 in the Chronicles of Counter-Earth. So this does not have the DAW cover at all. This is the first one in the Gore series. The guy's wearing clothes. I reread that. I think recently, I think a couple of years ago, I reread it for Garb August. It doesn't get much more garbagey than the Gore books, but I don't know that I want to reread any of the others. This next one is an incredible oddity. Somebody put a spiral binding on this Ray Bradbury collection. They removed the binding and put a spiral on it instead. I have no spiral mass market paperbacks. But as a chance to reread Bradbury, especially for Rocket Summer, I will gladly do it. Now, I mentioned to that Reading Guy when he was showing me pictures that some of the mass markets that he was showing me really have not been liberally reprinted in any other format. The mass market paperback was a huge publishing boon. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon. And this is an example of that. Hitler and Nazism, which I have never seen in any format other than this. I have no idea if it's ever been reprinted, but this is worth a reread. This came out, again, I want to say the 1970s. Oh, no. All right. Well, the edition that I read came out in 67, but this is from 61. But I've never seen this in a hardcover or a new trade paperback or anything, so I don't know. That's basically the top of this box, so I don't know what's in here. We have Reach for Tomorrow by Arthur C. Clarke. Again, this is short stories, and this is perfect fodder for Rocket Summer, which is a BookTube event in July. Michael K. Vaughan thought up a BookTube event in July where we read classic science fiction, so before 1970, I think, is the cutoff. Or maybe before 1960. Then we have Balthazar Castiglione, the Book of the Courtier. This is the Charles Singleton translation. Uh, I've read this translation. Oh, this has pictures. Oh, great. I've read this translation. I always consider it kind of ironic what a pass Castiglione gets. When people want to heap opprobrium on an ancient Renaissance figure who is writing a book of instructions, they do it to Machiavelli. When this book is about how to be a social media fake, that's what this is all about. I don't know that I know the Singleton translation, but these old Anchor paperbacks don't hold up well to manhandling, and I manhandle all my books and all my guests. So I don't know how much it will survive. Then we have Inside Outside by Philippe Jose Farmer, who can be really good. He can also be really bad. I don't know this book, so it could be that this just was pounded out for a paycheck, in which case it will be salacious, but it probably won't be all that interesting. What else here? Fred Saberhagen, The Broken Lands. Wow. I have read this, but I read it a long time ago. This will definitely count for Rocket Summer, will it not? 1968. So if the cutoff is 70, this will count. This is Saberhagen doing speculative, idea-driven science fiction, and I think I'm not alone in saying that his most effective stuff is when he does military science fiction. If I remember correctly, this is not that, so maybe it will have weak spots. Okay, all right. This is Anthony Boucher. This is Rocket to the Morgue. Where a falling man has a missile coming straight for him. And the cover says complete and unabridged, and I'm thinking that might be a threat. So we'll see. I've never read it, so we'll see. Oh no, it's another Gore book. Okay, we have Outlaw of Gore, Volume 2. You can see we're getting closer to the style of artwork on the later covers. We're not there yet, though. I don't know if all the Gore novels are in here. That's going to be a little bit of an overdose. There's this thing. The Annals of Tacitus. This is actually the best edition of Tacitus in English for the notes. The notes are exhaustive in this thing. They're just bless Mentor for doing this. And I don't know that I have a copy of this. I never see it anymore. These old mass market paperbacks, they're harder and harder to find. But if you're going to read Tacitus in English, this is a good edition to have, the best one. Because he needs notes right at the time when you think he's being the most straightforward. It's very worthwhile to have a trained classicist along for the ride. All right, let's see here. We have a lot to do here. This is going to be longer than the video I did with David. This is Robert Heinlein, Revolt in 2100. I believe I'm not up on all of these things off the top of my head. I don't know that I've ever read this Heinlein book. This is from the early 60s. 1953. If I'm remembering this correctly, or remembering about it correctly, this is his response to political dystopias that were all in the rage at the time. But I have no idea what it is. Of course, Heinlein is mainly known for his novel Stranger in a Strange Land, which I have recently reread. But I'll give this a try. Absolutely. It certainly qualifies for Rocket Summer. Of course, there will not be any revolt in 2100, as long as we're all clear on that. Okay. The 2100 will be, well, what? It'll be Baron Trump's grandchild, his grandson. But I don't know if he will have just a name, like Elon Trump or whatever, or whether or not the Trump regime will say that it is still Donald Trump. Like in, or that it's still Baron Trump. I don't know if it'll be full North Korea or not. But it won't have anything to do with this book. John Wyndham. Oh my, this is Coronet. Okay, this is Wanderers of Time. I have not read this. This is a UK mass market paperback. That reading guy had all these things just in a pile. At this sale for dirt cheap, all of them. So maybe it's time for me to revisit John Wyndham. He's well known for one book and one book only. At least in this country, he's science fiction fans in the UK know a lot more about his work. But Coronet has tiny print. Oh my god! Oh my god! How am I supposed to read that? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be reading this, and I'm going to forget myself and do this. And the print's not going to do anything. It's not going to care that I want it to be bigger. Oh, Lee Brackett, look at this dorky old cover. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, well, this is an ace double. The Lee Brackett story is Alpha Centauri or Die, which is so good. It's so cheesy. It's so enjoyable. And then when you flip it over, you get another book. What is this? Legend of Lost Earth by G. MacDonald Wallace. Have not read G. MacDonald Wallace. Pretty sure I haven't. I've read this, but ace doubles are always fun. Okay, we have another UK mass market. This is Foursquare. This is Earthworks by Brian Aldiss, who, like John Wyndham, is a science fiction author I have just... he's just never done it for me. Not really. He's just really never done it for me. This is tiny, so maybe this will be the thing. That's what I'm going to use Rocket Summer for this year, is to approach a lot of these authors that I have settled opinions on. We have another Arthur C. Clarke, Against the Fall of Night. What a great cover. Look at that. Okay, I don't know how well any of these things are going to hold up to a reading, but we'll see. Oh, wow. Oh, boy, oh, boy. A. Merritt. This is seven Footprints to Satan. Look at that. Look at that Doc Savage cover there. How incredible. Oh, man. Well, this isn't really science fiction, so this might not count. 1928. Oh. Okay. All right. Let's hope there's more Merritt in here. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Wow. Oh, right. I think I remember seeing this and thinking this is another one of those things you just never see. It's just never reprinted. This is Alan Matthews' The Assault about Iwo Jima. I haven't read this in forever. Oh my God. When did this come out? Late 1950s? 1947. And then the copyright was renewed in 74, and there was an edition in 74 that didn't look like this, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm getting it confused with Mulish's book, The Assault. No one should ever call a book The Assault. But fantastic. And I would never see it. I would pay $5 for that if it showed up at the Rattle. Okay. We have the author going under the pen name of Jay Scotland. This is Sir Scoundrel. I don't know what's happening on that cover. I really don't. But well, what have we got here? Into the bloody turbulence of the Third Crusade rode Blondel, minstrel and swordsman, following his master Richard the Lionhearted. With a nose for adventure, an eye to rise above his station, and a passion for high-born women, he found his talents pitted against powerful enemies, not only the Saracens, but a crafty duke and a British baron. Okay. All right. There is no, as far as I know, there is no phenom, gigantic, well-known, well-beloved booktube event for historical fiction. There should be. But as far as I know, there isn't one. Let's see here. Oh, this next one's in a plastic bag, which, in a science fiction bookstore, all of these things would be in plastic bags. But I don't deal in plastic bags. Okay, this is by Lawrence Janifer, and it's called Blood World. I've never heard of this. Planet of Strangeness. What is a remand house? Who are the bound men and bound women? What makes them different from the lords and ladies, and why are they the eternal slaves of pain? Okay, I'm all for it. When was this? I do not know. You science fiction people. Do you know this author? 1968. Lawrence Janifer. Okay, fantastic. Well, I did tell Isaiah to just send everything. So, okay. Joel Rosenberg. Oh, I hope the others are in here. This is The Sword and the Chain. This great Dow K. Sweet cover there. This is a really, really good, fairly lighthearted fantasy romp in multiple parts. I read the first one and the second one. I don't think I got any further than number 2. Oh no. Okay, well, this is Planet of Treachery. Look at this hideous cover, good lord. By E. Doc Smith with Stephen Golden. And I don't know what that with means. But E. Doc Smith, of course, is famous for the Lensman series, and this is not that. This is the Family D'Alembert series, number 7. So I'm not sure how comprehensible that will be to me. All right, another vintage Heinlein. This is Assignment in Eternity. Never had it with this cover. I have read this book. Oh my God, look at how small the print is. Oh my God, look at Robert Heinlein. Oh man, oh man. This must be early for him to look like that. 1949. Goodness gracious. Okay. More Ray Bradbury, another Bradbury collection, timeless stories for today and tomorrow. Ray Bradbury is he's famous for Fahrenheit 451 and The Illustrated Man, but I have always thought he's infinitely better in short stories than he is in longer fiction. More Jose Felipe Farmer. This is The Stone God Awakens. Look at that cover. That is horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. I have read this. This was right. This is in the late 60s. Is that right? 1970. And this was right around the time when Philip Jose Farmer started to get downright weird. Some of his books, I don't know if they'll be in here, are downright weird. They're basically porn. The one that he does that's basically porn, and the guy in the porn movie is his takeoff of Tarzan, is disturbing on a whole bunch of different levels. Because you immediately want to know what Tarzan learned about the birds and the bees, judging by who he learned it from. This next one's a Tarzan book. This is the son of Tarzan. That is a blonde Korak on the cover there. I have a copy of this. This is my favorite Tarzan novel. And this is my favorite cover. I just like the play of the light on the water there, even though Korak is not blonde. But still, I'm wonderful. Oh, I think there are a lot more. There's a lot more Edgar Rice Burroughs in here. Let's see. Oh, wow. I don't know this cover. This is a Penguin paperback of Frank Conroy's novel Body and Soul. I don't... Yeah, this doesn't have a U.S. price on it at all. This is a great novel. This is a great novel about a piano prodigy who gets a chance. He gets a chance to make it in the world. He gets a chance by accident. He accidentally finds something and returns it to an extremely posh school that his mother is a taxi driver. She's like slightly out of her mind. There's no father in the picture. They are poor. There's no chance he's ever going to go to the school and actually get his talent cared for. But when the boy that he returns something to a boy at the school, and the boy takes him on a little tour, and he sees a piano and starts playing, the boy thinks, what on earth? What on earth? And immediately calls for the music instructor and the school's headmaster and tells the boy, Claude, to play something else. And Claude does, and the headmaster is just aghast. He's saying, are you telling me this boy walked in off the street? And he asked the music instructor is exactly the kind of figure that you would think would be at such a school, someone who couldn't do it on his own, who couldn't make it on his own. He asked the music instructor, well, you're the expert. Did I just hear what I heard? And the music instructor very grudgingly says it was very good. And the headmaster says, yes, I know that, but how good? And the headmaster very bitterly, a bitter moment of self-knowledge, says, better than anyone we've ever had here, certainly better than me. And the book just takes off from there. It's absolutely fantastic. That reading guy included a note, read along, and it's a serious contender. I wish I could read it aloud. Just a little while ago, I would have been able to get permission to do that, but not anymore. We have more Heinlein. This is Glory Road, a famous book of his. Never seen it with this cover, but if I'm going to reread a lot of Heinlein, that's fine by me. He can be very good. We have Richard Wilson, 30-Day Wonder. I've never read this book. Not even all that familiar with Richard Wilson. We have Chad Oliver, Another Kind. This is all just vintage science fiction. A lot of it, people I haven't heard about. I don't think I've ever read any Chad Oliver. The New York Times said it's very likely the best science fiction novel of the year. Okay, I don't need much in the way of convincing here. Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, we mentioned gore, and gore, if I'm going to keep them and reread them, they're going to be for Garb August, obviously. And this is another candidate for Garb August. I've actually read these for Garb August. This is the Blade series, Richard Blade. This is the Tower of Melnon. This is about a guy who just shows up in a fantasy world, and he is strapping. He's extremely strapping. He's on many of the Blade novels. He is in fact naked. And I read a couple of them, and they're wonderful, cheesy fun. Okay. Oh, how lovely. This is Mayflower Science Fantasy. I do not know. That must be UK. This is Sword of the Dawn by Michael Moorcock. The third volume in the history of the Rune Staff. Good Lord. Well, if there are more Runestaff novels in here, that would be great. That would be wonderful. But let's see. Let's keep going. We've got to crack on because there's a lot of books in here. E Pluribus Unicorn by Ted Sturgeon. I have this with a different cover, but it's been a long time since I read it. When did you come out? 1953. Oh, here you go. There you go. Sorry, the bean is acting up here. B&B, that is the worst place you can be. I'm going to be bumping you 100 times. All right. Okay. Well, no help here. All right. This is an old Timescape paperback. They were great. Whoever ran the editing, you knew you were getting something really good. And this is also a great book, Where Late the Sweet Bird Sang by Kate Willem. This is great. And now I have this old Timescape paperback. How wonderful. How wonderful. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. That was a real find. I'm happy for all of these. Most of these. Okay, most of these. This is Marion Zimmer Bradley. This is another Darkover novel. What is this called? Star of Danger. It's got a Michael Whelan cover, so it's got that going for it. But I'm not a big fan of Marion Zimmer Bradley, except for one book. And I'm not a fan of the Darkover novels. They went on forever and ever. They were a lot like these endless science fiction and fantasy series that I got in on the ground floor. I read the first book of them, and I just didn't like them. Maybe I'll give if there are more Darkover books in here, I might give them a try. Oh, okay. I think there are a lot of these in here. This is the old Ballantine printing of the John Carter of Mars stories. So you've got you ruining the artwork there, but Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. But you've got that this is authorized. Why that is, I have no idea. At the time when this series came out, no one was foolish enough to do an unauthorized printing of these without getting sued into oblivion, without getting sued back to the Stone Age. But this is a John Carter novel. That is John Carter. The following Ballantine reprint series, I think, had better cover art, but I once upon a time had all three sets of John Carter of Mars. I wonder what others. Oh, all right. Well, this is part of another set. This is a different cover art. This is the Mastermind of Mars, and there is one of the white apes of Mars with their four arms. And you see, these are two different art forms. These are two different print runs of these, and there's a third, the famous one. The later one is different as well. All right, here's another one in a plastic bag, but we're not going to put anything in plastic bags. Plastic bags are for books that are collectible items, and I read my books and tear them apart. And this is At the Earth's Core by Edgar Rice Burroughs. The smaller sized paperback. Wonderful. Haven't read this in forever. Just forever. So, aren't you nice? Oh, you're the best. David was organizing the books. Okay, we have Fighting Man of Mars. I might have all of these with this cover artwork. Look at that cover. A full-scale military encounter between the airships that ply the skies of the dying planet Barsoom. We have Tarzan the Untamed. Might have a lot of Tarzan, but I don't... If I remember the picture that Isaiah showed me, the later cover illustrations of John Carter and Tarzan were not there, or hardly any of them. So here's... this set of illustrations, you ERB fans are going to know who this is, who does these covers. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know. Dick Powers. This is great. David's right off camera here. He didn't want to be in this video because what would he say? What would he say to any of this stuff? Michael K. Vaughan should be in this video with me. We have Tarzan the Terrible. We have Tarzan the Invincible. about to be stabbed through the chest. And we have the last mass market paperbacks of these. This is a John Carter. This is the Martian Tales of Edgar Rice Burroughs. So they added this big thing here and the title, and you get far more colorful, far more dynamic covers. This was seen better days, but I actually like that in a mass market paperback because it means I can just put some tape over this and make it a battered, a copy that's going in and out of a bag. Oh, look at that. It's Edgar Rice Burroughs' Back to the Stone Age, and it's a Frank Frazetta cover. Look at that. That is just incredible. For the dynamicism of the artwork, it's just incredible. Okay? Not for the buns of steel, but for the whole thing. That is awesome. Oh, to have that with a Frazetta cover. Okay, then we have the Chessmen of Mars with this cover design. I didn't like... This was probably my least favorite because it's very static. Who is the artist for these? Gino D'Achille did these, and his covers are mostly just people standing around. And for an action adventure stuff, you don't like that if you can help it. Tarzan the Untamed. Here he is with his golden lion. Oh wow! What on earth? Is this the UK? It must be. Yeah, this is the UK. This is Tarzan of the Apes. Look at that. Oh, look at that. It's just an extremely tight detail of a great Tarzan artist, but not anything else. Just no jungle, no apes, no Jane, no lion, no knife, no nothing. Okay. All right, we'll get this thing out of here. Oh, right. Okay, well, this is the modern cover for the Tarzan things, which is, in this case, it's Neil Adams, I think. And these are just better. There's just no way around it. These are just better. And the whole of these black spined Ballantine editions, these Ballantine editions of John Carter and Tarzan were the last time these characters will ever appear in mass market, as far as I know. And they went out with a bang. The covers on the Tarzan especially are incredible. What do we got here? Robert Silverberg, To Open the Sky. Great, fantastic. This is who? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I love Silverberg. I think this is too late for Rocket Summer, pretty sure. 1978, so probably not. I can still read it, though. Oh, Robert Silverberg. Oh, look at this thing. Look at how old this is. To Open the Sky. Look at that. How fantastic. Oh, this thing will never last through a read. This is from 1967. And has To Open the Sky ever been reprinted? I don't know that it has. Oh, how lovely. Time of Changes. Look at this cover. Who is this? Are you not going to tell me? It's the best cover we've seen so far, and you're not going to tell me? No. Well, look at that. That is great. That is this. If I remember correctly, this is Silverberg doing planetary sword and fantasy, sword and planet type things. Great. Just great. Oh, all right. More vintage Heinlein. This is A Door into Summer. With this cover, which I've never seen before. I am clearly due to read a lot of Heinlein. Clearly, this is the push in that direction. 1957. So that'll fit for anything. And then Farnham's Freehold with this cover, which I do know. I've had this before in the past, but happy to have it again. Boy, oh boy. 1964. Great vintage Heinlein. What else have we got here? A. Van Vogt, Quest for the Future. Look at that cover. How incredible. He's in a spacesuit, but it's not going to help him. Okay, fantastic. What else here? Edgar Pangborn. Almost don't know this author at all. This is A Mirror for Observers. In their attitude towards the planet Earth, the Martians had long been divided into two camps. The observers, benevolent meddlers in human affairs, and the rebellious abdicators who sought the Earth's collapse. So you know already from that description when this book could not have been written. It could not have been written after we know for a fact that Mars has no life on it. 1954, when science fiction fans could easily have dreamt that there were civilizations on Mars. Oh my goodness. Oh man, you are kidding me. I don't remember seeing this in the pictures. that were sent to me. Oh man. This is Robert E. Howard. This is not Conan. This is a Spanish Main type swashbuckling adventure, and I have not read this in forever. This is Black Volmia's Vengeance. I don't think this was reprinted in the great Ballantine trade paperbacks of Robert E. Howard. I don't know that this has ever been reprinted. Maybe Robert E. Howard Incorporated is doing that now, but fantastic. I haven't had that volume in forever. Another one in plastic. What have we got here? Okay. This is more Andre Norton, but this is not a Witch World book. This is Judgment on Janus. And I think I read this. If I read it, it wasn't with this cover. So this might... Library Journal said, the plot is dazzling, the setting's wonderful, and the author's imagination is in full gear. This would be early enough. A lot of this, most of the stuff, is perfectly primed for Rocket Summer. 1963. So, I Sing the Body Electric by Ray Bradbury. I remember this edition so well. This was an edition that I had forever and ever, and this is in perfect condition. I've got a lot of Heinlein to read and a lot of Bradbury to read. Oh, talk about perfect condition. All right, we have The Warlord of Mars again, only this is from the last Ballantine reprint run. There's John Carter with his dog Woola, facing a giant insect. And this, I don't know if you can tell, it's in absolutely perfect condition, like the day it was made. Better condition than my paperback of this book that's already here. So, fantastic. All right, more plastic here. What have we got? I'm still, I mean, I'm not meaning to be ungrateful here. I'm not ungrateful at all, but I'm still thrilled about Where Late the Sweet Bird Sang. I'm still thrilled about having the timescape of that. Oh, all right. This is Harlan Ellison. This is the one that starts with a crappy poem. Well, they all do. This is Alone Against Tomorrow, a Harlan Ellison anthology of his various short stories. Maybe time for me to revisit him. There might be more Harlan Ellison in here. I'd really like it if I could get a copy of Shatterday. That well, this is just your reminder that I am in fact a god on earth. Okay, so oh, look at how young he is. Good Lord. Yeah, this really broke for him. This thing really did. The cover blurb by Stephen King. Great. I need to reread this. That is wonderful. And then more Robert Heinlein. Waldo and Magic Incorporated. I have to say, in the 1960s, this has got to be... Oh, no, maybe the 70s. Yeah, 1970. In the 1970s, a lot of covers had this psychedelic, blurry photograph design that I hated. I just hated it. But I've got a lot of Heinlein now. That's a real push to read that sort of stuff. Oh. What are you doing, baby? What are you doing? Why don't you go and sit behind him? Why don't you do that? Oh, is this English? It is. This is the Gianni Goreshi. This is the Little World of Don Camillo. Wow, I didn't expect that. Collateral Classics. These are great. This is not science fiction. This is not science fiction or fantasy. These are great. The Little World of Don Camillo has the same kind of permanent charm as the Jeeves and Wooster stories or the Rumpole of the Bailey stories. These are a place that is always charming and always wonderful. In this case, a little village in the Po Valley, a little Italian village that is ruled over by two hammer-handed, pugnacious men. One is the priest of the village, Don Camillo, and the other is the communist mayor, Peponi. And they are so at each other's throats that you know they love each other. And these stories are wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. Okay, then we have This Immortal by Roger Zelazny in a smaller paperback. This is, you can make this out here, but it's a smaller paperback. This is not the cover that I read this book on. Okay, fantastic. So this is 1966. And it's really good. It's not my favorite Zelazny, but my favorite Zelazny might be in here. You never know. Oh, Bob Shaw. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, I have read some Bob Shaw, but I haven't read this one. I read his two really big books. This is The Two-Timers, which I've never read at all. So Lester Del Rey says he may well be the most important science fiction discovery of the decade. Harlan Ellison said, if anyone needs incontrovertible proof that the fiction of wonder has come of age, Bob Shaw has provided it. Keith Laumer says, this is immensely readable and smoothly written. He had all those accolades, and yet he is forgotten now. And at least in the U.S., no one even thinks about reprinting him. Okay, it's another gore novel. Again with a giant bird, again with a chained woman. This is Captive of Gore. I'm not sure how many, no offense to Isaiah, but I'm not sure how many of these gore things I'm going to read. Though then the Martian Chronicles, this is probably the most famous cover. With Ray Bradbury's hammy face right there on the cover. And again, I mean, this is of course a classic, but you can tell right away when a book is written before or after we suddenly knew for an indisputable fact that life hasn't existed on the surface of Mars in a billion years. And that no life could exist on the surface of Mars. Before then, we didn't know about Mars or Venus. We didn't know. Then we have Rex Gordon, First Through Time. Do not know this at all. Not in the slightest. One Man's Trip Beyond Doomsday. I do not know this book at all. William Golding, John Wyndham, Mervyn Peake. This is an anthology. Sometime Never. So one story from each. William Golding, of course, is famous for Lord of the Flies. John Wyndham is famous for The Midwich Cuckoos. And Mervyn Peake is famous for Gormenghast. And here they're all doing... William Golding does Envoy Extraordinary. John Wyndham does Consider Her Ways, and Mervyn Peake does Boy in Darkness. I think the only one of those that I've actually read is the author I said I was weak on, with was John Wyndham. Consider Her Ways, I think, was in an anthology that I read. Okay, more Michael Moorcock. This is okay, yeah. Oh wow, is this a photograph? What a crappy cover. This is Quest for Tanalorn. I don't think I've ever read this. This is a Castle Brass series, and I don't think I gave them much time. I think this is volume 3 in the Castle Brass series. I think I quit on that series, so this would be Moorcock that I haven't read. We have George O. Smith, Venus Equilateral. What have we got here? In the space station planet in orbit of Venus, relay point for vital interplanetary messages, nerve center of the solar system. But it is too great a prize to be left alone. And Don Channing of Venus Equilateral faces attack by greedy businessmen, bureaucratic government, and the most daring pirate of the spaceways. And this is early 1960s? Oh no, 1947. So the Venus in this book will be a fever dream of science fiction. It won't be metal melts on the surface of Venus. So there's rain that's made of acid. So there's literally no way that life could live on the surface of Venus. Not human life, certainly, not carbon-based life. You could live in the upper atmosphere, in the high cloud, the tops of the cloud systems that cover all of Venus all the time. The sun never strikes the surface of Venus. So you could, those clouds are extremely dense. They're very corrosive. But if you could make a non-corrosive floating city, you could do it there. But not on the surface. And this is going to be all surface swamp animals. Okay, then we have the Chessmen of Mars with this cover design. So I've got examples from all 3 cover designs for John Carter and Tarzan. There's my favorite John Carter novel, Thuvia, Maid of Mars. There she is. She the artists who did the cover artwork for these books often did not know about the books, and often their publicists did not know about the book, and there was no internet. So you will often see copying, not reading the book, not picking your own favorite scene, but instead I'm looking at a cover of a book and I'm commissioned to do a new cover for that same book. So I'm just going to copy what the previous person did. That's exactly what happened here. The next cover of Thuvia, Maid of Mars is also Thuvia doing basically this, and that makes no sense. In terms of the book, there are 10 scenes you should do better. But you won't know them if you didn't read the book. You'll just know, well, if this worked to get him paid, then a variation on it will work to get me paid. We have Tarzan's Quest. by Edgar Rice Burroughs. There he is sneaking past that palisade there. Whereas the newer cover for Tarzan's Quest just has him laying on the floor of a hut, bristling with muscles, and bound hand and foot. So, obviously you're going to prefer this, right? Who's going to want to look at that? Then we've got Jungle Tales of Tarzan. This is a terrific book, but I'm not a big fan of this cover, and I don't know, how was the print on these things? It's pretty small. Tarzan and the Ant-Men. Here they are. They're not actually as small as ants. This is when these kinds of Tarzan stories, they don't involve marauding Arabs. They don't involve rogue Germans. They don't involve anything. They don't involve vicious lions or bull gorillas. Every once in a while, Edward Rice Burroughs would just give Tarzan a fantasy adventure. Go to the center of the earth, find a lost Roman city, etc. Tarzan and the Golden Lion, John Balja. A lot of these Tarzans I could easily stand to read again. Does anybody like this cover? I mean, does anybody like this cover? I mean, you have your artist. What's this guy's name again? If this is the guy whose last name is Powers, I'm pretty modified. Yeah, Dick Powers. I don't think he's any relation to the Powers that go back with me until the dawn of time. But look at this cover. You see Tarzan, and your picture-looking brain says Tarzan and a lion. But look at the lion. The lion has a human face. Because Dick Powers didn't know how to draw a lion and wasn't willing to go 2 blocks south to the zoo. So, anyway. All right, Tarzan and the Castaways. That's a pretty good cover. I don't particularly like this design, but that's pretty good. Tarzan the Magnificent. Why, I'm getting all of Tarzan here. There we go. And see what I mean? A lot of these earlier covers, no matter who they're by, are pretty static. Maybe I'm just spoiled because the black spine Ballantines are so dynamic. They're just so good. Okay. Oh, okay. This is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a novel by Steven Spielberg. Quite a bit wrong. I haven't read this since the movie was all the rage. God help us. Does this have pictures from the movie? No, it does not. But so this would be the 1970s, right? 1977. There's quite a bit wrong with this. Okay. I'm sure it'll be fun. I really need to reread it. It's been 50 years since I read it. But there are no close encounters. Earth has never been visited by aliens. Okay. And B, I hope I don't need to point out that Steven Spielberg did not write this book. I hope I don't need to do that. I almost can remember which of the classic science fiction authors we have gone through did. I think it's pretty ironic that I think the author of this book is almost certainly in this pile, unless it's William Kotzwinkle. We haven't found him yet. Oh, goodness gracious. It's Roger's Cheap Old Book Club. This is The Prisoner of Zenda that we read for Roger's Cheap Old Book Club. I had such a blast rereading this. I don't know what's going on there. What is going on? What am I doing with these covers? What's going on that cover? You look again, like the Tarzan cover. You glance at this and you think, well, you know what's going on. He's jumping into the water off a bridge. But take a look at the cover. He's 50 feet from the bridge. So where is he falling from? I don't know, but I know the scene in the book, and it's terrific. Oh, more merit. Dwellers in the Mirage. I think I might actually have a copy of this here at Hyde Cottage. Now I would have two. Mouth-filling marvels, real writing power, and required adventure reading, says the New York Herald Tribune. Fairly certain that the reviewer for the New York Herald Review that used the phrase mouth-filling wonders, mouth-filling marvels, probably got fired the next day. I just in case you're wondering, there aren't going to be any mouth-filling marvels here. Oh, well, actually, that's not true. That's not true, because the fry shop next door serves nothing but mouth-filling marvels. Oh, great. Shoo. That phrase is saved. Okay, Tom Swift. There were a lot of Tom Swift novels at the sale lot of the Brattle Bookshop this morning. But they did not have... Tom Swift is an omnicompetent, super genius teenage boy. The omnicompetent super genius part is usually what's on his covers with a fantastic spaceship or whatever he's building. But yeah, I want to see all of it. And this is In the Caves of Nuclear Fire by Victor Appleton II. kind of odd that Victor is going to the point of adding a Roman numeral to his name when I don't think he's real. But this is this Tom Swift and his flying lab, Tom Swift and his jet marine, and his rocket ship, and his giant robot, and his skywheel. So, is Caves of Nuclear Fire an actual original Tom Swift story? There's the opening picture. Just in case you want to get more wrong, leopards don't do that. Okay, they don't do that. So it was very dramatic, but yeah, 1956. Okay, great. So this is a 1970s cover where you get a little bit more action there. Okay, more Michael Moorcock, at least for part of this. This is another ace double. So for his part, we have The Wrecks of Time, which I did not like, but I'll give it another try because that reading guy went to the trouble of sending me all these things, 100 books. And then you flip it over, and what have we got on? Okay. Tramontane by Emil Pataja. I think his name came up last Rocket Summer. I don't know this author at all. How interesting. I love ace doubles. I have a whole bunch of them. A.E. Van Vogt, The Wizard of Lynn. Very creaky. I think... I know A.E. Van Vogt has fans on BookTube, but we'll give this a try. Well, I'll give this another try. I haven't read it in a long time, and this definitely qualifies right for Rocket Summer. 1962. So if we cut off at 70, I don't remember if it's 60 or 70. This would count. And no, more A.E. Van Vogt, The Weapon Makers, a far more successful book on his part, a far more successful thing. Very creepy cover, but this is terrific. There is a later cover for this with cover art that I really love. But I'll take this, absolutely, because it's so cheesy. And then Fritz Leiber, The Night of the Wolf. Fritz Leiber, of course, is famous for Farford and Grey Mouser. But this is not that. This is science fiction, yes? 4 novellas are an ironic encouragement to the peace of the world. And being Leiber, they are also witty, gripping, entertaining, and other adjectives too numerous to mention. Oh, wow, what a great final line. It's actually there on the back cover. If you want to feel a little saner, read Leiber. How wonderful. I think he would have loved that. Probably wrote it himself. Probably giving away too much credit. Oh, man. Okay, we mentioned Ace doubles, but Ace also brought out a whole bunch of Edgar Rice Burroughs in smaller paperbacks. Not the standard size mass markets that they became, but smaller. And I love the form, and here I have one. This is The Moon Man, which is great. That is not how physics works. I always have to go through this. Had to go through this forever and ever when I was talking about the old Avengers before most of you were born. Not for Epic Comic Book Wednesday, but as the issues were coming out, there was a character who founded the team, and then he left, and then he rejoined. His name was Goliath. He was a man who could grow to 15 feet or 25 feet tall. And I always used to have to tell friends of mine when we talked about comics that it's not how it works. You don't fence with somebody that's 3 times your size any more than you would fence with a little kid. You just overwhelm them with size. But I haven't read a lot of these Edgar Rice Burroughs things. I have not read in forever. Pirates of Venus. Look at that. How incredible. Oh man, there's just a whole bunch of these. This is one of the most famous covers, Beyond the Farthest Star. This would be a little bit odd to read now because I can't remember the publisher. I showed it though on this channel. A restored version of this with all of the text was brought out, and whoever did it had the inspired decision to give us this cover, to include this Frank Frazetta cover. And I don't know, this is not that. This is the eviscerated version, I believe. So I don't know how comfortable I'd be reading it. But I have it now anyway. We just have a whole bunch of these little mass market paperbacks, some of them in really good shape. This is The Lost Continent. Look at that. Just amazing. The People That Time Forgot. That's not a reference to BookTube. That is just a really good story. Oh, Tarzan and the Lost Empire. Look at that. He's just looking at it from a great distance. That is so great. Just so great. The Chessmen of Mars in this little format. So we've now had 2 copies of the Chessmen of Mars. I like this one better than the other one. And Dick Lupoff. Dick Lupoff did a biography of Edgar Rice Burroughs. And it's had many different editions, but it's called Master of Adventure. That's what this is. So it's the story of Edgar Rice Burroughs, not an Edgar Rice Burroughs novel. Fantastic, though. Just great. All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep crapping on. David, are we anywhere near the end?
Yes.
Oh, of course. All right. John Rackham, Alien Sea.
I've been asking that all week.
Yeah, he has been asking that all week. But this is an ace double. All right, so we have Alien Sea. I missed it up in the corner there, and you flip it over, and what do we have? E.C. Tubbs' COD Mars. I have not read either one of these books. This will be an ace double that I will read in the way you're supposed to read them, where you get caught up in the one story, then you come to the end, you flip it over, and you don't have to go anywhere for your other book. Wilson Tucker, The Long Loud Silence. Oh, man. I read this once upon a time. I don't know how much I remember of it at all. And this will certainly count for Rocket Summer, yes? Oh, man. 1952, yeah. I may have even read it in this format. There wasn't enough left of it when I finished with it to even keep it. Russ Winterbottom, The Red Planet. Look at those creatures. But this is going to be Mars, isn't it? Oh, no. When the spaceship Jihad blasted out, from Mars, millions of miles away from Earth, 4 men and 1 woman placed themselves under the rule of Dr. Lewis Spartan, a sadistic, power-mad leader of the expedition. Yeah, but you wouldn't have anything like that on Mars. So this is 1962. Wasn't long after that we started to know, for sure, that we're the only life in the solar system, almost certainly. Unless life exists underneath the ice surface of a gas giant moon in the perpetual darkness of the perpetual oceans. There won't be any islands or anything like that. But that ice is thick enough to protect that water from constant bombardment of cosmic rays, which means that cells could develop. But anyway, you don't want me to go on about that. Robert Sheckley, Notions Unlimited. This must be a short story collection. Yeah. Again, Robert Sheckley, to me, is known for one particular novel, not his short stories. I'm not sure that I've read any short stories. A. Bertram Chandler, oh my. Ooh, The Road to the Rim. Traitor to the Star Empire, Hero of the New Galaxy. But this is an ace double. So that is that. A. Bertram Chandler shows up in some anthologies, never left a real of an impression on me. And then we flip over to The Lost Millennium by Walt and Lee Richmond. This is great. I cannot thank that reading guy enough. This is so much reading stuff that I don't know. We have another D. Lambert series and more E. Doc Smith. So how weird to get a gigantic haul of science fiction and fantasy books, have E. Doc Smith in it, but no Lensman books. I don't know the D. Lambert books. This is number 8. I did not get that far. Okay, more Fred Saberhagen. This is a much better book. This is Brother Assassin. What an awful cover, but still, this is a much more controlled book. Something that Saberhagen, I often get the impression that he starts with a premise and doesn't really know what it's going to go, and that can sometimes work, but not with a writer like him. And this, I got the feeling that it was in full form when he had it in his mind. Chad Oliver, Unearthly Neighbors. I do not know this author at all. Is this also Mars? What had gone wrong? Who were these people? Why had they attacked humans? Certainly looks like inferior men or super 8s. He needed 8 light years to reach these naked people. Okay, so not our solar system. All right. And then Theodore Sturgeon, Synthetic Man. I have a lot of opinions about Theodore Sturgeon, but I have not read Synthetic Man in eons. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Well, there is the son of Tarzan, where he is about to be killed. He's bound to the stake. He's about to be killed. He calls on Tantor the elephant, who rescues him, pulls the stake out of the ground, and carries him off into the jungle. But Tantor doesn't have any hands and can't untie him, so he just lays there on the forest floor, hoping that someone will come along who can let him loose. We have Lana of Gothal with this cover. Oh, man. Baby, what are you doing? We're almost done. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, yoga. Oh. Synthetic Men of Mars. This is and we're just taking a tour through all the Edgar Rice Burroughs cover designs here. Fantastic. Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle. Look at this. See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, get a room. Wow. Anyway, so you can't win them all, right? We have The Beast of Tarzan. So this is number 2. This is the second appearance of this novel. This one doesn't have a giant bird. It says a giant elephant there. Yeah, look at this. Is this my kinsman, Dick Powers? Is that who this is? No, you're not telling me, but this is their cover for Tarzan of the Apes. That is boring. It's just boring. And also, obviously, Tarzan is skipping leg day. I'm a little spoiled because the cover of Tarzan of the Apes in that black spine Ballantine is beautiful. And then finally, Edgar Rice Burroughs not writing about Tarzan or John Carter of Mars, but this works for June on the Range. This is the War Chief. I have an ebook of this, but that's wonderful. This is Edgar Rice Burroughs writing Western stuff. Okay. This is more Edgar Rice Burroughs. Fantastic. This is the Oakdale Affair. The giant bear. This is let's see here. 1918. Goodness gracious. Look at that. That is amazing. This is all Edgar Rice Burroughs. This is The People That Time Forgot. This is the movie cover of the movie poster. Tarzan and the Lost Empire. So again, we have Tarzan and the Lost Empire. This is this Powers? Powers scum? No, Robert Abbott. But it's still completely static. It's not always successful. But there's an awful high bar on Edgar Rice Burroughs' cover art because Frank Frazetta did a lot of it. And it doesn't get any better than that. Yep, all right, case in point. At the Earth's core, look at that cover. Look at how amazing that is. You would frame that and put it on your wall. The Beast of Tarzan. So we have, again, The Beast of Tarzan. Here, at least we have some action. It's the same artist that did The Son of Tarzan. Did we get his name? No. But that's... Oh, yeah, it shows you. It's the same artist that did The Son of Tarzan. Then another Ballantine Black Spine thing here. This is number 20, Tarzan and the Forbidden City. But this is in perfect condition. I can't show it to you on camera. That is the cover there. That is not Frank Frazetta, but that is still really good. But this is in perfect condition when this item is 40 years old. So that's kind of amazing. And then The Eternal Savage by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Look at that. Just amazing. So I have a ton of Edgar Rice Burroughs here, and I'm a big fan. I mean, Michael K. Vaughan is the biggest fan, but I'm still a big fan. Oh, you're kidding me. You Weisenheimer. That reading guy also included a sarcastic choice here. A guide for your upcoming 30s, because as is well known on BookTube, I am 28. And this is by Art Hister, MD, and it's called Midlife Man, a not-so-threatening guide to health and sex for man at his peak. So aren't you funny? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Just innocently, purely for informational reasons, because I am a trained book critic, I'm wondering if there are pictures. No, there are none. There's a nice long bibliography then. Yeah, that's great. It's just what I was looking for. Okay, well, this guy looks like he's posing like Michelangelo's David. It's a wag of a joke, but I'll read it because it's in the greatest gift box that anybody's ever sent me. So there, we're done at an hour. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to that reading guy. I've already sent him an email, but this is a lot of Edgar Rice Burroughs on top of a lot of science fiction. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I've got a guest to tend to, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.